got mail.
Should they have connected with you by now?
It's not 6:30. Oh, 6:28.
Got mail. You've got mail. You've got mail.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to council for St. Patrick's Day, March 17th, 2026. Kind of wintry night, but we'll get through it. So I need a motion to accept the agenda. Moved by Gross, second by Booker. Any additions to the agenda? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Councillor Perry, if you can hear us all right?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Any declaration of community interest in the general nature thereof? Seeing none, minutes of the previous meeting of March 3rd. Move under seconder. Moved by Gillis, second by Itma. Any errors or omissions? There is one under the medical officer of health. It was me that asked for not mark records. Anything else? Then as amended, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, that's carried. Business arising from the minutes, clerk's report CLOE.
So moved.
Target seconded by Whitman. Any you want from that?
After the mayor council, nothing to add to the report, if you have questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Any questions for this report? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, that's carried. We're now down to delegations and appointments. We have a public meeting for Paul Richard for a zone change. Paul, you want to come up to the table, and we have okay. The rules on my post, you understand, we actually have to go to a public meeting. And the clerk says, after 29 years, I don't need to make a motion. So, we're going into a public meeting, the zone change application is NM 42505. Paul, just for your understanding, can you hear all right?
Yes.
Okay, just for your understanding, the planner gives a report to council. Council has an opportunity to ask any questions for clarification.
Absolutely.
Then you have an opportunity to make any comments you want. Then we ask anyone in the public, either here or virtual, if they want to make any or raise any questions, either in favor or opposed. And then we go to the public council, then has an opportunity to ask, ask you or the planner more in-depth questions if they think of any. And then we go to the public meeting and make a decision as a council. So that's the process. Laurel Davies Snyder is the planner. She's online. And Laurel, would you please, let's get down to zone changes ZN 42505.
Great. Thank you, Mayor Mayberry, members of council, and members of the public. I apologize I can't be there tonight, but thank you for accommodating me online tonight. So this is for application ZN 42505, Paul Borsted, and it's for 243930 Airport Road. So the reason for this zone change application is to fulfill a condition of consent, and the file was B25264. It was granted by the Oxford Land Division Committee on September 5th, 2025. And the purpose of that consent was to sever a a parcel from the overall agricultural parcel, retaining a home and some accessory dwellings, and consolidating the rest of the agricultural parcel with an abutting farm. So the condition required that the property is rezoned from general agricultural zone to rural residential zone, and that's to recognize the new use of the property as a non-farm rural residential lot. The existing zone, as I mentioned, is general agricultural zone, and the designation is agricultural reserve. The property is located on the north side of Airport Road between Durham Line and Plank Line. It's approximately 0.8 hectares or 2 acres in size, with an approximate depth of 193.5 meters, frontage of 41.8 meters on Airport Road. There was an error in the report. I mentioned that the depth was 171.8 meters, and thank you to Mr. Burstead for pointing that out. That was the previous depth when he originally applied. That was an administrative error. It did not impact the application or the analysis. So the depth is 193.5 meters. The property contains an existing dwelling served by private well and septic system. There are some sheds and a sugar shack on the property. I'd like to point out that the cumulative total of the accessory dwellings is well within the permitted maximum area by the township's bylaw. The surrounding land uses are agricultural and zone general agricultural. So as with all applications, we circulated this for comments to various agencies, departments, and the public. I did not receive any comments from agencies or departments, and there were no comments received from the public. So this application was reviewed under the direction of the provincial planning statement and the official plan, as with all applications. The proposal again is to rezone the property from A2 to RR. It complies with the policies of the PPS regarding the creation of new residential lots resulting from a farm consolidation. It also complies with the intent of the official plan, which does permit very limited non-farm rural residential development. So specifically, this property has on-site water services and septic services, and we've determined they're adequate to serve the proposed use. It meets the minimum distance separation requirement. The proposed rural residential lot does have direct frontage onto Airport Road, and the size of the lot is consistent with the minimum required lot area and area required for private servicing, and it minimizes the amount of land removed from agricultural production. In terms of the zoning bylaw, based on the reference plan submitted by the applicant, the property is consistent with the requirements of the rural residential zone with respect to lot area, frontage, and depth. So staff are of the opinion that the proposal to rezone the lands from general agricultural to rural residential are consistent with the policies in the provincial planning statement, the official plan, and it maintains the intent of the official plan with respect to non-farm rural residential development in prime agricultural areas. And we recommend that the application be approved. I did attach a draft bylaw for council's consideration, and I'm happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Thanks, Laura. Any questions or clarifications from council? No questions? Paul, it's up to you now. Any comments you want to make? You've read the report from the planning staff?
No, I don't have any comments.
No comments? You're fine with the recommendations that we proceed?
Yes.
Okay, is there anyone in the public who wants to speak in favor of the application? Anyone in the public wants to be opposed to the application? Nobody is registered online? And there's nobody online? Okay. Then, questions from council then? Paul. Yeah. No questions? I just had a couple. What's the intended purpose of the sugar shack going forward?
Graydon said that they would allow us to still tap trees, and it's part of that, the piece of land that we're selling is 35 acres of workable land and 25 acres of bush. And they said they were fine with us tapping trees in the woods.
You'd still be harvesting?
Yes.
Okay. Laurel, maybe this is more for you, but at 2 acres, the property is eligible for an additional residential unit?
Through you, Mayor Mayberry, and to council, yes, that would be eligible for an ARU.
And, question about file. Can't think of what it is right now, so I guess it wasn't important. Any further questions? Doing none, then we need a motion to, we don't need a motion to go out. Boy, this is getting fast. All right, I'm taking us out of the public meeting, we're back in the council, and we need a motion.
Approve.
Yep, second by Gillis, and the motion will be.
And we approve.
The application be approved. Any discussion? Being none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried. And now, go ahead.
Remove the zoning bylaw.
If you want. Okay, so we've approved it, there's an appeal period, but my understanding is the only people that can appeal would be you, or us, or the minister. So, we're doubtful, you're probably doubtful, aren't you? So you want to do the bylaw now, just so that you know it's passed? You still have to wait 20 days after the bylaw is passed, and notice it's sent out, which will be tomorrow. So 20 days after tomorrow, if no one's appeal is finished. Okay. All right, so, clerk, go ahead. Read. The mover and seconder for second and third reading of the bylaw. Moved by Mayor, seconded by, Hipma, and go ahead, clerk.
Resolved that the following bylaw be read for second and third time in time and passed. Bylaw 23 of 2026. A bylaw to amend Township of Southwest Oxford zoning bylaw number 25-98. For zoning file 4-2505.
Any discussion? No discussion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's good. So 20 days after, probably tomorrow when they mail it out, then it's finished, okay?
Okay,
All right, thanks very much, Paul.
thank you very much.
Yeah, have a nice evening.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, Paul. Enjoy the rest of your holiday, I'm sure that's where you are. The next one is 6:45 appointment, Trevor, come on up and tell us about the Silver Pole Board capital plan project.
Okay,
Now, I don't have any information on that, so.
sorry to take you from, but like,
So this would be, no,
Very
easy, wait, surprise, sure.
So, at the Salford Hall, we have had a small, piece of playground equipment for at least 17 years, because that's how long I've been on board. It was there. We've replaced and put in a larger structure, but for the toddler size that use the hall, both in the community as well as when we do rentals, they use this little, it's gotta be about 4 feet tall, just a simple climb and slide on it. It was deemed as unsafe and had to be removed recently. So we were looking at our capital plan, and the original plan was to say, okay, let's fundraise some funds and let's try to get this done. Well, on our capital plan, we had $40,000 set aside for new floors, because originally we were told that the tiles in there were made of asbestos and would need to be removed, and it's gonna cost a lot. We've got 2 quotes from flooring places, and they have told us that they can do it for half that quite easily. And they're not actually removing the tile, what they're doing is coating over it and being able to put a new floor over top of it, which is significantly cheaper to be done and safe, and it will meet all the needs of the community that in there, including shuffleboard court on there that we wanted to have replaced because the seniors use it a lot. So with that, it's gonna cost us roughly half. We got a couple quotes on getting the toddler playground replaced. And the toddler playground quotes came in anywhere between 15 and 30,000. We saw one that's at 15,475, I believe was the quote. That looked quite nice, and we were wondering if it would be all right to get approved to do that as part of our capital plan. It would not change the dollar value, it would just increase from the new floors in our big room in the hallway, our main meeting room, to being new floors and playground equipment. Any questions from council? Go ahead, council.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Through you, not really a question, more of a comment. I'm just a little bit leery about covering over asbestos. That has a nasty way of coming back to bite us later on, after everybody's forgotten about it.
Yeah, the tiles are those like school tiles from the seventies. I didn't even know those were asbestos until I was told that they were. And he said that those will stay there seemingly forever until you really want to rip up the building, then we need to do something with them, is what we were told. So I'm no construction expert, but I was told that most buildings that have those kinds of tiles are essentially basically sealing them, putting a new floor over top, because unless you're destroying the building, there's no reason to.
Any other questions? Councillor,
Just in that process, then I would assume that there's gonna be some, like putting a new floor over top, there's gonna be some need to drill down through the tiles in order to fasten whatever floor that you're putting on. Is there any concerns around that or not?
The flooring companies, two of them gave us quotes and they assured us that there's no concerns, they do it all the time. I don't know about drilling into it, if there was anything, they just said, yeah, this is normal for us to do over. So there's two types of flooring, the vinyl, something, I have to get the quotes unfortunately from me, but there's two different types of flooring, one of which requires waxing and sealing every year. The other one will not require that, and that's where we're leaning. The only part that would have to get ongoing treatment would be the vinyl, that's the shuffleboard cord, once a year needs to be waxed. So that's what we're looking at. The quote we got was $19,400 some dollars. So yeah.
any other questions? So, probably the day in your book, we have, budgeted $40,000 for, I take it then there's $30,000 coming from, and, so, you know what, our is $30,000, you're making up the rest, is that what you do?
Absolutely, yeah, we already have the fundraise, so we've actually got about $40,000 worth of fundraised funds that we've got a number of projects over the next 2 years we want to use it for.
So, what's, any other comments or what's the decision of council? Council Gills, please.
I have no problem, if you want to swap one thing up for another, it's within the dollar amount that we approved in our budget, so I have no problem with that, and we'll make a motion that we allow that to happen.
Second, Bruckner. Motion then is to, be agreeable to the, change of capital plan project, including the playground equipment, a maximum of the $30,000 we intended.
Yes.
Okay. So, any discussion on the motion? Go ahead.
Through the mayor and council, consultation will need to take place with the accessibility advisory committee for our playgrounds. So that'll happen at the county, and staff can work with the Southern Hilbert to arrange that.
Perfect.
Okay. No problem. No problem. Anything further on this? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Right.
Opposed? That's great. Thank you very much, Trevor.
Thank you very much.
A little bit early for Salford. You folks here for Salford?
Sweeper.
Sweeper, I'm sorry. apologize.
No, that's okay.
Do you want to go ahead and move up earlier in the meeting? Because you might as well.
Yeah, sure.
You're the next thing on my agenda.
Okay.
It's actually helpful if you do, so. Come on up.
What do we do?
So, first of all, you mind introducing yourself and the face you're familiar with?
No, that's okay. I'm Rebecca Moore. I live within Sweetburg, and I just joined the Parks and Recs committee for Sweetburg.
I'm Sean Meeland, also live in Sweetburg, and I've been on the Parks Committee for 3 or 4 months now.
Great.
They're throwing us into this.
Actually, jump right in with both feet. So, first of all, thank you for being on the park board and the willingness to volunteers. Councilor Pickard from Sweetburg is online. He's watching.
Hello, hello, hello.
Okay, so, we do have a report from staff and, do you want to go through it, Danny?
Yeah, I can do that for you. Student Aid Council, the report that's in front of you requests council approval to purchase and install new playground equipment at Sweetburg Lions Park, which replaces the old equipment that was removed in 2025 due to safety concerns. The Sweetburg Parks and Recreation Committee reviewed several supplier quotes, all quotes go within $60,000 budget allocated for 2026. Because the cost exceeds $50,000, council approval is required under the township's procurement policy. Under the Accessibility for Ontario and Disabilities Act, the AODA, over 19111, the Integrated Accessibility Standards, the township is required to consult with the Accessibility Advisory Committee at Oxford County for the construction of the playground equipment. I did try to get additional information on this prior to the meeting tonight. But the staff member who receives the Accessibility Advisory Committee is away from the office for a few days. At this point, I would suggest the recommendation be amended to essentially approve the purchase and installation principle pending consultation with the Accessibility Advisory Committee, and staff are happy to work with the committee to do so.
Okay. You did all the reference, Sean.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, so, under the AODA, we actually have to, any new equipment or new building, whatever it has to be for the plant. We can wiggle our way along with all the new stuff. So, our policy or our practice, which is practice within the county accessibility committee, planning or whatever we're planning, and give us that kind of matching each community, basically. And as Denny said, Kurt said, we should have somebody look at the plans and okay. So that's that part. Second part is in budget.
In budget, but it's over the $50,000.
I know,
Yeah.
within the budget we passed. So, questions from council?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Through you to the clerk, I don't know if you have the answer for this or not, but is it anticipated that the AODA would significantly add to the cost of the project, or?
After the mayor to the councilor, I don't believe it'll add any cost to the project. It's just a requirement under the act. So the act states that when constructing new or redeveloping existing outdoor play spaces, obligated organizations other than small organizations shall consult on the needs of children and caregivers with various disabilities and shall do so in the following manner. So municipalities are required to consult with the public and persons with disabilities, or municipalities must also consult with their municipal accessibility advisory committees where one has been established, which has been established here. And then when constructing new or redeveloping existing play spaces, that they intend to maintain obligated organizations other than small organizations, so incorporate accessibility features such as sensory and active play components for children and caregivers with various disabilities into the design of outdoor play spaces. The design that's been put in front of you as recommended does indicate it has accessible aspects, but it should be reviewed by the Accessibility Advisory Committee first, just to ensure that it's meeting their requirements.
That was my question, whether it was going to significantly alter the proposal for accessibility features.
Good. Any other questions? I guess the question I had was $53,005 plus tax. Doesn't sound like much in playground development these days. So I was actually surprised that below $60,000. But see that committee has their 25%.
We think we do, yeah. We are gonna start fundraising shortly once we finalize this, but we don't think it's going to be a problem to come up with the other portion of the money.
My friends in Sweetburg has been that the money shows up.
Yeah.
So people have been very generous there. Make sure you ask the board of councilor for a donation as well. I'm just
Yeah,
wondering
that's
if-
for sure.
Any further discussion on this? Councilor Yipman?
I'd just like to mention, Mr. Mayor, that this seems to be another good news story coming out of Sweetburg. I continue to be impressed with that community and the efforts that their folks put forward. That's not always the case in all of our villages, and so good on you folks and good luck with the project.
Thanks.
Okay. The recommendation, we have a movement and second. No.
So
okay,
moved.
movement and second recommendation. Moved by Pickard, second by Gillis, Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
aye,
Opposed, that's carried. So you will be in contact with Sean or Rebecca regarding the AODA.
Yes, back from the coordinator at the county, like what will be required on their part, I'll be back in touch. Sounds good.
Okay,
Awesome.
Great.
all right, thanks very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Take care. Okay, we're now down to staff reports. First one is building department, Daniel. What's the good news in the building department?
Nothing we did, 11 permits were issued in February, $26,063.14 in permit fees. It's been busy, so the overall things are good. I'm open to any, I don't really have a whole lot else to add to this, so I'm open to any questions.
Any questions for Daniel on this report? Go ahead, Councilor Woodburn.
Through you, Mr. Mayor. I see there's 7 applications that are in review. Is it getting better with the applications coming in with all the required information, or is it still a struggle?
I would say it's getting better, I would say overall. So we have to, we kind of check it right away, and if it's not complete, if we need additional documents submitted, we kind of get on people quite quickly on that, so I'm gonna continue our review from there, so I would say it's getting better.
Good. Any other questions on this report? Seeing none. We have one more second for the report. Moved by Yitman, seconded by Gillis, result of Council Township Secretary, Chief Report BDO 5/2026, February 2026, building report as information. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
aye,
Opposed, that's carried. Confirmation of the tender for the West Branch. Go ahead, please, Daniel.
So this is to present council with the results of the tenders for the Whaley Drain Branch A. We had another competitive amount of bids came in for this. I know in the Excel sheet it shows that South Branch was the lowest, however, they forgot to carry their $10,000 contingency through to the total price, so that at that point CAT became the lowest bid. CAT's done a lot of work for us over the years, and yeah, I recommend that council accept the bid from CAT demolition and excavating.
Good. Any questions on this? Councilor, Mr. Mayor.
Daniel, I wasn't here for the discussion around the engineer's report on this one. Where is the Whaley Drain again?
It is Hawkins Road, west of Cloden, actually just east of Pegram.
Any other questions on this? Councilor Gillis.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, the question I had, Daniel cleared up, going through there, so I will move this.
Moved by Gillis, seconded by Brookner. Result of Council of Township South Oxford received for DDO 5/2026, confirmation of drainage tender for the Whaley Branch A, Drain Branch A. And further, the tender submitted by CAT demolition and excavating in the amount of $125,000 to our plus HST construction Whaley for Drain Branch A. Seeing none. Favor? Opposed? The request for tax incremental rent down in Ingersoll. Did you want to speak to this, Brian? You just did it. Okay. So Brooke, this is your report. Tell us the story.
Okay, this report is before council tonight to consider a request from the town of Ingersoll to implement a tax incremental grant program on the annex lands for the industrial investments specifically. Currently in the boundary adjustment agreement between SWAX and Ingersoll, it does not allow for the inclusion of this program as these lands remain outside of their community improvement plan. As per the agreement between SWAX and Ingersoll, we receive 24% of the taxes collected on the properties within the boundary. This includes any industrial vacant land. You'll see in Appendix A of the report, it illustrates a comparison of revenue in each scenario over a 5-year period. We just came up with some figures for example purposes, just to give you a comparison. So currently today, doing nothing at the bottom under conclusion, it says industrial vacant land. We receive approximately, say, $5,000 on vacant industrial land on a specific, just with this assessment value. Having said that, if we brought in new development on that same parcel of land, that increases assessment and taxation, which would triple that revenue for SWOCs. However, we need to attract that new business in the first place, which is where the tax incremental grant comes in. So if this were implemented over that same 5-year period, instead of the $15,000 in revenue SWOCs would receive, it would be approximately $9,000. After year 5, it goes back to 100% and so forth for every year. So staff is recommending that we begin negotiations with the town of Ingersoll for a possible amendment to the boundary adjustment agreement.
Okay, thanks, Brooke. So for council's information, Marika and I and the two CAOs and Brooke met 2 weeks ago, so to have a discussion about it, and for Marika and Michael to be able to present kind of their justification for wanting to do it on their portions of interest and our portion on their portion as well. To attract industry and to basically make it feel for the province that we're actually doing our bit to kind of some of the pressure costs of getting water and wastewater to. So, after meeting with Ingersoll, Brooke and Julie and I talked about it a little bit more, and that's a report to say what would be the recommendation of staff. Staff was saying, well, finally look like, and permission to in principle, they're willing to. It's up to Councilor Gill.
Couple questions. So first one, is this industrial land only? Not commercial?
Industrial. That here, well, go ahead. Go ahead.
So from Ingersoll's point of view, we would not be willing to put it on commercial, and we're upping what we have. We already know we have a 10-year payback, and it has to be a certain square footage. We're upping that square footage, and we're looking to decrease the amount of years that will be offsetting those taxes. So, yeah, we specifically look at that in negotiations, but certainly we want industrial land. We don't want warehouse.
Good. Another question.
So then secondary to that, has this been done? So an example of Ingersoll been doing this on their property before, has it increased encouragement of business in the past?
Yes, directly. Multiple examples. One is the big new Ursula Hotel building that's going up behind Bob Foods. That's a $100 million facility. There was 2 things there. One was tax and grants, and the other was the DC charge exemptions. The town still offers those, the county doesn't. So we were told by the province that if you do not offer these, you're not getting offered provincial investment opportunities, which that one was. Also, there's been IMT in town has also taken advantage of this. Cami has now, we do not, we have an agreement with the companies that they cannot appeal their taxes. And so if they appeal their taxes, they do not get this. So even if they don't do it, they get a heads up that what their intentions are. And we had an example with Carson Cove 214 that they have, they were going to appeal their taxes and we reminded them of the agreement and they quickly stopped that process. So it was effective in making that happen.
Good. Any other questions? Any questions, Councilor Pickard?
No, I'm good. No questions.
All right, so the motion here is, receive the report and ask staff to proceed with negotiations. Okay, any further discussion? I'm kind of, you know, there's multiple sides. I was gonna say there's two sides, but there's always multiple sides to every story. One of them is, by giving up a certain amount of tax, and basically in this case, you're giving up half the tax for 5 years. Over that 5 years, on an investment or, versus, there's no tax if there's no, and it's always kind of a balancing act. Does this encourage, that, industry or whatever to move that? So certainly one for orders, lots of competition. State of chaos. Certainly a certain amount of your option looks good. Yeah, the day after Julian and talked about like kind of come down on the side. If something in the ground in the next couple of years, it's better than waiting 10 years and still not having anything in the ground. So the other thing that we need to remember is that it will cost us absolutely nothing for servicing whether they become. No expense, further expense to us. So it's not like you're giving up some taxes on something we're going to have to pay for, other than Adam might argue that you might have to plow or something the road, roads a little more regular as there was a whole lot of industrial traffic there, but a lot of industrial traffic we might be happy to plow. That's writing down. If there's any other questions or comments, Councilor.
Just a comment. First reading through it here, I was, I kind of thought, you know, at the end of 10 years, we're going to run into the same problem as with Camry doing the taxes, but we kind of cleared that they don't get this if they appeal.
Yeah, certainly during the time period, it's something that we've never been tested afterwards, we don't know. But we do feel it is defendable, especially during this time period.
Yeah. Thanks, Brian.
So, but after 5 years, and they're paying 100% taxes, there's no reason that they can't come back and appeal. But there's no reason that anybody else in the township can't either, or in the town for that example. So, that option's open to everyone every year. Okay. Any other questions or comments on this? So the recommendation is there, and the decision of councilors. Go ahead, Councilor Gillis.
I think, from hearing what's been said tonight, move that we continue to work with Ingersoll to make this viable, to encourage business to come to there.
Okay, the seconded by Brookner. Resolved that the council attention to the Department of Report PRO 2026 traffic incremental grant agreement with the town of Ingersoll as information for the council direct staff to negotiate the terms of amendment to the 2021 boundary adjustment agreement with the town of Ingersoll related to the tax incremental grant program and bring proposed amendment back to council for final review and consideration. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Oh, sorry, Brooke, did you want to say it?
No.
No, sorry. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried. That deals with that one. Okay, we're now down to discussion items. The first one is Selford Group has offered a tour of their facility, and Denny, the time is Monday, a week from yesterday. What time is it? What is it, bro?
Monday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. That's what Julie has in the calendar.
Okay, So I said, Selford Group, 10 o'clock in the morning. I'm away on Monday, so I'm actually having a tour on Tuesday, I think it's at 2. So, anyone that's interested in, coming out and seeing what's happening there? I'm assuming that Shane has been through the building, for emergency services. Anyone interested?
I'd love to go, but I can't make any day next week.
Okay. Councilor Brookner, you'd be interested? Yeah. I think just show up at the Suffolk Group at, what time did you say it was? 10?
Monday.
10, okay. All right. Second issue, as part of the, MADS application, mergers, acquisitions, whatever it is, and, resolutions or something, divestitures, amalgamations. Earth has asked, as I think you all know, they purchased, or in the process of purchasing West Area Power. And that you make an agreement with the power company you're buying, and then you have to go to the energy board to get approval. Earth has asked that we pass a resolution that says that we support, as a shareholder, we support the purchase. Would you write that resolution?
Yep.
You want to read the resolution and we'll see.
Resolved that the council of the Township of Sutton Oxford as an individual shareholder of Earth Corporation approves the purchase of West Area Power Inc. by Earth Corporation subject to the terms and conditions of the Earth Board approved the purchase agreement.
So any, is there a mover or seconder for that, or any discussion? Councilor Dickman, so you're moving? Good. Second by Booker. Any questions on this? I'm actually surprised they were able to purchase it. I didn't think they offered anything more than that, but I was surprised that they actually accepted the offer. So, any further discussion on this? All in favor? Opposed? Just waiting to see Councilor Perry. Perry, can you hear us?
Yeah, your sound is really breaking up. I don't know what's going on. Yeah, I think you asked for support. So if that's it, I'm an aye.
Are you supporting? Councilor Perry, you're coming through.
Yeah. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can hear you fine. Can you hear us?
At times I've lost you.
Okay.
But right now you're good.
Okay, I'll try and speak more directly to the speaker as well, so. Okay. So that was voted on. The next one I brought up was, the question around, Ellis Shelton. There's sort of, remember the silver, medal team at the Olympics. The fun day where they honored 4 years ago when they won gold. I understand that they may or may not be doing something. One thing is, one thing is, did we want to do something? Because it was kind of a community celebration for that time. The second one is the home of Ellis Shelton sign at the south end of Fordham's disappeared.
It's back up.
It's back up.
I had another one they got put up there.
Now, does it say silver and gold?
No, just the original one.
Okay. So I'm wondering if we put this on the next agenda when Councilor Wade is back and see what, by that time, we can reach out to Fordham's as well, see if they're going to do anything in celebration. All right. Any comments or questions on that? Talking to Ella's mother, she seemed to think at this point in not winning gold. I thought second best team in the world. It would have been really Anyway, good for her. We're down to the consent agenda, and there's 1, 2, 21. You have a motion or any of those you want to brought up? Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to send a letter of support for items number 12 and item number 17.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes,
I'd like to see us support the Zora motion for the zone amendment or the to the tax class, the new tax class for small farm businesses. I'd like to see us support that. I know Zora has approved a motion. Blanford Blenheim has agreed. And there is a request here from Rural Oxford Economic Development as well. I think it's number 21, asking us to agree to the MPAC optional small scale on-farm business subclass tax. So I'd like to see that one supported as well.
so, I got 12, 17, and 21. Anything
Yeah.
else? Any others you want to take note? That's covered with, I thought that was covered in, also similar to. Oh, okay. You want 6, 7, and 21? Councilor Becker, is that right? 6,
Yeah,
7,
yeah,
and
I'm
21?
real. Yeah, you guys aren't coming in very good today. Yes, 21 and 7.
21, 7, okay. Okay, let's start, Councilor Hipna, you said number 12, so. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'd like to see us send a letter of support along with Norwich's suggestion that the phrase priority groups be changed with groups of particular concern. I don't like seeing society broken up into silos and more import given to one group or to another.
Okay. Any comments on that? Or Councilor?
I have no problem with that, and I would second that.
So, the word priority groups actually comes from the provincial guidance document for creating safe and well plans. That's where that term came from. That's why it's in this round of, or this version of the discussion. Explain the difference between priority groups and groups of a particular concern. I'm struggling to understand what the difference is.
Not a great deal of difference in my mind either, Mr. Mayor, but it does give a different tone other than a priority group. Priority seems to be of first importance rather than those that have concerns as to their well-being.
I would come and attempting to align with the provincial guidance on safe and well plans that the county's actually from previous terminologies like DEI to priority groups, which is what the province had sort of suggested. But it's one of those things that 6 and 1 half doesn't matter to me, but it's I think that's what the wording is in there for. So I would leave it as priority groups. That would be my preference, but council gets the vote on these things. So you want to remove with the letter of support your seconding?
Yeah, good question.
Go ahead.
So if that's the case, why couldn't it be all groups? Because if the safe and well plan is for everyone, why wouldn't it be all groups that are affected by this plan? Wouldn't that be a safer way to word it?
Might be, but I would say the province is looking at how do you, support or whatever, groups, their wording, it's not my wording, their wording, just saying, that's where we be.
I just think that, problem is that no matter whether you name them specifically or not, the one group's needs at one point can change and suddenly another group is more substantial than it was before, so I don't know whether we should just say all groups and then everything's covered. I'm trying to make the majority happy here, but I don't know where to go.
Any other comments? Councilor Bricker, are you getting this?
No,
So, you have the letter of Norwich in front of you?
yes,
Then you can see the, Councilor Gibbon is suggesting that we move to the wording that Norwich is suggesting rather than the, former wording or the wording that's, in the plan now of priority groups, the groups of a particular concern.
yeah, something, I'm not getting it, sorry. The volume is just terrible.
Okay, so is there any way of fixing the volume?
Is that better, Councilor Pickard?
That sounded better, yes,
Okay,
yes,
okay, so let's try that again. Councilor Gibbon is suggesting that, he would follow the Norwich, comments around priority groups, and change the wording to groups of particular concern. I simply said that the priority groups is the wording given in the guidance document by the province for safe and well, plans. So that's where it came from. So, motion to, by Pickard and Gillis to, support the Norwich Council,
Not by Pickard.
yeah, sorry. What did I say? Yilma and Gillis to support the, Norwich request. Any further discussion? Councilor Yilma.
Well, I just like to say that I do very much appreciate Councilor Gillis's suggestion. I'm just proposing a response to Norwich's request, but I like Councilor Gillis's suggestion of all groups much better. I don't know if that's within our purview to do at this point, but
So again,
I would move that we do that or amend my motion that we go with all groups rather than any specific group.
okay, so change, you would amend it by changing the word prior to all groups.
Yeah.
Okay. Any discussion on that? So you just seconded it.
Yeah, I think that covers everything. In my mind, it does. I'm sure others might think otherwise, but
Okay, any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
aye,
Opposed? Okay, so Pat, we'll send a letter to the county saying all groups?
Yeah.
Okay. The next one is 17, Councilor Ricker, or sorry, Councilor, yep, I'll get it right eventually.
Yeah, so this goes back to, this is a suggestion that municipalities work together to develop large-scale incineration facilities. This goes back to a workshop that I attended at AMO last year. where a company did present over a lunch period, a system whereby they were reducing waste down to, I believe it was 1 or 2% of the initial volume, simply by incineration, generating electricity from incineration, and then actually developing byproducts from the ash left over from the incineration process. And so I'd like to see that developed further to protect our land resources and cut down on the amount of landfill space that's needed here in the province.
Good. You're suggesting a letter of support? Dale seconded. Seconded by Gillis. Any discussion on that? Did you get that, Councilor Perry?
Yes, I did.
Okay, thank you. Any discussion? My concern with, my comment would be, my concern with any type of incineration is that until we can actually make sure we're not making things worse by putting it in the air instead of in the ground or in the water, I'm always concerned about it, right? And so that's where I'm not opposed, I'm just not sure of, I hate to jump from the frying pan into the fire sort of thing. So that's where I am in all this sort of stuff. And I just haven't been convinced yet that there's been a safe form of incineration that doesn't create as many environmental problems. So go ahead, Councilor.
I would argue that we're in the same kind of predicament with electric vehicles.
But you could argue that. Any other comments? Okay, so moving second that we send a letter of support for 17. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So that's carried. Councilor Pickard, can we put 7 and 21 together and have a
Yes.
letter of support?
Yes,
Okay,
I think,
so,
I think we can work off the Township of Blandford Blenheim's letter there. It has the message or the approval attached to it from the municipality of Zora regarding the small scale on farm business subclass. I'd like to see that supported in the same manner as Blandford Blenheim did.
so can I suggest,
And that would cover the request in 21 from the Rural Oxford Economic Development.
so can I suggest then the methodology going forward be a letter from this council to the county supporting small.
Absolutely. That is my intention, to send the letter to the county.
Okay, so based on the information in the Blandford Blenheim and the Zora motion, right, and with the support of RODC, should I read somewhere that the OCFA has supported it as well?
This is so frustrating because I'm not getting, you're not coming through, and your cameras are frozen. So poor internet tonight. You must be in a snowstorm.
The snowstorm's over, so, all right, so the letter of support, that's your motion?
Yes.
You accept it? Seconded by Wagner. Any further discussion? Seeing none, my only comment would be, in anything like this where you shift taxes from one place, you always got to remember to move it to someplace else.
That's right.
And so just as long as we keep that kind of in the front of our minds, in support of the small.
Yeah. I'm not sure, Mr. Mayor, that we have a lot that would fit into this category. But then again, you never know.
I don't know either, but it's not a huge dollar amount, it's just in principle, when you reduce one tax class, you increase another, one way or another, so.
That's right.
Despite that, I'm still in favor, so. Any further discussion on this one? All those in favor of sending the letter? With support? Okay, that's carried. So now that leaves us with a motion to note and file. Correct me if I'm wrong, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, 9, 10, 11, 13, 14, 15, 16, 18, 19, 20. No, just say, didn't I say that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, sorry, 6. All right, 1 to 7. Sorry, 1 to 6, and subsequent. Yeah, go ahead and read it for me.
Resolved that the council of the township of South Oxford receive items 1 to 6, 8 to 11, 13 to 16, and 18 to 20 of the consent agenda dated March 17th for information, and then we can notify.
Any further discussion? Oh, sorry, so moved, seconded. Any further discussion? Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried. Okay, so I'm now down to accounts payable. And moved by Yipna, seconded by Pickard. You want to second this one?
Yes, please.
Seconded by Pickard. Result, the following accounts be approved for payment. Accounts payable for February 28th to March 6th, 2026, $402,741.88. Payroll number 5, general $59,944.31 for a grand total of $460,1086.19. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried. We're down to bylaws. Bylaw 21, bylaw 22, bylaw 4, and 25. Do you want to read the, oh, we need a mover and a seconder. Moved by Gillis, seconded by Yetna, and read the bylaw and then we'll have discussion.
Resolved that the following bylaws be read a first, second, and third time and finally passed. Bylaw 21 of 2026. Bylaw to authorize internet telephone voting for the 2026 municipal election. Bylaw 22 of 2026, a bylaw to appoint persons to the Durham Center Hall Board for the year 2026. Bylaw 24 of 2026, a bylaw to authorize the execution of an agreement for construction management services with Sierra General Contracting. And bylaw 25 of 2026, a bylaw to appoint persons to the Brownsville Hall Board for the year 2026.
Okay, so, any discussion? Did everybody get the contract read? And did you understand it when we got to the amendment that's at the end that deleted half the stuff I just read? I wish I read that part first. But anyway, I guess the question I had was, and Julie's not here to answer it, but are we talking about a guaranteed price? Or, I'm trying to remember the other. Anyways. What's the wish of council? Is there any questions on it? I found it tough reading. I had to kind of back up and read again and then back up and read again 2 or 3 times. In discussing it with Julie last week, she had said the standard contract form and the only difference between this and anybody else's is the actual numbers they put in and the names. So this is what she had on approved for the contract with Sierra General Contracting. Oversee the managed project. And we approved that last meeting. But this is the actual contract, so. Councilor Denton.
So if I understand correctly, the initial fee for pre-construction services, that would get us the detailed drawings and any site evaluation prior to construction, and that's about the extent of it.
And cost estimates. I think that's what she wanted to get to, was so that you would have a reasonable understanding of cost. And you're.
And after that, during the actual construction, the fees would amount to 2% of the overall project cost.
So that's staff and otherwise. So, okay. Any other questions on this? Go ahead.
I think that our thoughts were with staff on the last meeting of, approving this in principle, and this is the actual draft agreement. Staff has read it thoroughly and understands it probably at a level higher than what I'm going to understand. Obviously, I know that this is the kind of form they all have to sign and everybody agrees to. But there is, obviously some complexities, and you could probably read it 5 different times and take something different out of it each time. But at the same token, this is what our staff has brought forward that they're happy with. So.
Anything else? Any comments, Councilor Pritchard? Can you hear us?
I think I'd share the comments that, or echo the comments of Councillor Yipma. Certainly.
Anything for you, Councilor Faulkner?
No, other than the comment of the 2%, that's pretty much a standard construction amount. Any of the buildings that we've done in the last 2 years is the 2% management fee right over top of all the expenses.
Running the wrong business.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure it has more headaches than enough as well. So,
Yeah.
okay. Any other questions on any of the other bylaws? This is first and second reading of that. Any other questions? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried. And third one reading? Oh, it was for second and third reading. That's sufficient there. Any notices of motion? Any new business? Councilor Roundtable. Councilor Pickard, you get to go first tonight.
Oh, thank you. I'd just like to say how pleased I was tonight with the 2 members that came out from the Sweeberg Parks Committee, Parks and Rec Committee. These are 2 new members out of about 5 new members. At a time when we're having trouble getting volunteers, we've been successful in getting a few to this committee. And tonight, it was nice to see those 2 individuals come out. The second thing is I've been told that the ice rink has had one of the most successful winters ever. That project went really, really well. The other thing I'm going to mention tonight is that the Lions are doing the meals at Jakeman's on the weekends, serving pancakes and sausage. So if you're looking for a breakfast some Saturday or Sunday morning, feel free to go to Jakeman's and support the Lions Club. I'd also mention, while I'm on the subject of Lions Club, the Lions are donating $7,500 to the playground equipment. I don't know whether that was mentioned earlier tonight or not. In hopes that the committee or the community will match that in donations. That's my report.
Okay, thank you. Councilor Yipman, you're next.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Not a whole lot to report. Durham Center Hall Board met on March 10th with their AGM. Same executive as last year. Mount Elgin Community Center going back a little ways since I wasn't at the last council roundtable. On February 20th, they had a cornhole tournament, and that was fairly successful. I believe they had 13 teams there. Raised about $900 for the evening with not a lot of expense for the setup. So that was, they're planning another one at some point in the future. Not exactly sure when on that one yet. And our next meeting there is, I believe, next week, Monday. And then Long Point Region meets again on April the 1st. And I think you've all seen the release from the entire government that they've now altered their plans for the Erie Conservation Authority, and they're going to divide it into 2 groups. So getting better, if we can get them to put their heads together another 13, 14 times, we'll get it back down to where it should be. Yeah.
And Councilor Brookman.
Yeah, things are fairly quiet down there. We're just working towards the village yard sale, first weekend in June. And then we got a fun date planned for the end of August. And working on the plans for that are coming along pretty well. And I have a catfish meeting, not this Thursday, but next Thursday after that. And going over some of the same concerns as Long Point has.
Councilor Gill.
Thank you. Went to the Museum Historical Society AGM there last week. Thanks, Brooks, for coming as well. Always an interesting time to review everything that's happened at the museum the past year. So that was a well-attended event. Following the night after was the regular museum directors meeting. I'll send my thank you out. Our previous chair, Susan Clark, was their last term on the board, so had to step off the board. So we had to get a new chair, and I was the lucky individual that got that role. So yeah, I want to tell George that one in person, but I'm sure news has already traveled to him already about that. So see how that goes. In saying that, we have had some issues with our barn project at the museum. Staff and myself are working on that to bring something forward to come up with a solution for that. So you're ready for that in the near future. Other than that, the Parks and Rec getting stuff ready for our Easter egg hunt on 4th of April.
I didn't know anything really that was going to report. It would be my next county report, but I did want to report that Councilman Thurston is still not feeling well. Yesterday, for a while. They had no idea what's the matter. So possibilities, but they haven't nailed anything down. And I believe Councilor Roy is in Spain or Portugal. One or the other. It goes from one to the next, I think. So right there. Other than that, I don't have anything that won't be in my next report, except that Denny, you wanted to remind us that the Inform and Engage Committee has allocated $1,000 to each of the 5 all boards and park boards for any kind of summer event. So Brownsville is using theirs for the end of August event.
Yeah.
But if there's any all boards that want to do any kind of summer community celebration.
Doesn't have to be summer.
No, thank you. So you don't have to spend, but it's any kind of community celebration that brings the community together. This is kind of seed money to get them started. So, last engagement forum meeting. Okay, so we'll make sure that all boards. Okay. With that, I think we're